Hello everybody, how's it going? I am Greg Tito, and this is D&D News coming at you for about, oh gosh, I guess I got a little bit late here, 52 minutes. We're going to have episode 109 of Dice Camera Action coming at you into your eyeballs. The Waffle Crew plus Sam Sykes will be there for your viewing pleasure, which I'm very excited about. How's it going, everybody? It is Dragon. Oh, can you make the thing a little bit smaller, Pelham? You're getting my icons. I like to do this because it is Waterdeep Dragon Heist time. This was a Harvest Moon coin that we made for the Stream of Many Eyes. It is quite heavy. And I like to bring it out because it is Waterdeep Day, or it was Waterdeep on Friday. How many of you are playing Waterdeep Dragon Heist right now? I mean, probably not right now because you're potentially watching me, but, you know, in process. Are you in a campaign? Are you starting one? Yeah, that's good, Half and Grim. This would be a really good fidget spinner, but it's got lots of sharp, pointy edges that you don't really want kids to play with in their eyes. But it makes sense. Maz, I miss you too. You get a gold dragon, Maz, for all of the fun you had here. It was super amazing to have you in the office, and I appreciate you. So thank you. How's everybody else going? You doing good stuff? I see Akeisha in there. You're going to get the book in about 2 weeks. That makes sense. Yeah. What else is going on for you guys? It's me. I got a whole hour, or rather 50 minutes. Probably more like 45. I'm wasting it all. I usually end up doing this for a half hour, but it got truncated, and I felt rushed many times. So rather than have that dead half hour between 3 and 3:30 where I would usually come on, we decided to just fill it up with more of D&D news. So this is the second week that I'm doing it for this long, and I'm trying to do it in style, as the case may be. Nostalgic Potato, you just joined your first campaign? Congratulations! Cheers! You get a cookie in the shape of this coin. Maybe your Dungeon Master can make that for you, because that sounds awesome. Very cool. Congrats! All of the fun, as Obo Crazy says. Where you're still trudging through Barovia. Yeah, that makes sense. But there might be some ways to flow it in, as you say right there in the chat. That could really work. Ooh, Harper Moon Pies. I'm going to just pretend I took a big... That's good moon pie. All right, enough of my... Yes, they do, Maz. Please make them crescent-shaped. That would be fantabulous. So I like to start off D&D news with the latest and greatest. What's happening right now is we had an Unearthed Arcana come out yesterday. That's right. Do you know what Unearthed Arcana is? Well, allow me to elucidate. It is a monthly article series that is put out by the Dungeons & Dragons team. Sometimes it's testing out mechanics that need to see some feedback from playtesters or a wider net of playtesters such as you, the fans. Sometimes it's just some fun design fiddling that is going on. But yesterday's is all about Dragon Marks, which is in the Eberron release, Wayfinder's Guide to Eberron. You can download now from the Dungeon Masters Guild. That was worked on by Keith Baker, the creator of Eberron, as well as large swath of folks from the D&D community. But the Dragon Marks UA, was short for Unearthed Arcana, has 13 new player racial options that you can add on to your character when you take on a Dragon Mark, which I think is pretty cool. So go check it out. It'll be on D&D Beyond next week, so you'll be able to use it in the character builder there next week, so that's pretty fantabulous. But if you want to get that download going, do it right now. It's some good stuff. I know there's a lot of Eberron fans out there who is an Eberron fan. Well, I mean, Majestic Majesty C2K1. Dragon marks are kind of like tattoos, right? They're kind of like the what were they called? The Satrons or the Patrons? I'm thinking of the characters from the series of books that Margaret Weiss and Tracy Hickman wrote after Dragonlance. You know what I'm talking about? There was a whole entire, I guess a race, but more of a offshoot of the human race that tattooed and got all their power from their tattoos. I would love that to be more in, in everything that's going on. What else? So yeah, I talked about Wayfinder's Guide to Eberron. Adventures Outlined is out everywhere. So I'm gonna switch the stuff here so you can actually see it. There's the cover. Adventures Outlined. There's still a lot of the chrome. Still a lot of the chrome up there if you want to get the top off. This is the book. Yes, that's the cover right there. And then each one of these line drawings you can color in on your own. This is a new copy, so I haven't done it quite yet on this, but it is fantabulous. I love having a D&D coloring book that my girls can jump into. And what's really interesting is that, Displacer Beasts. That's what this artwork is all about. There's awesome artwork. Awesome text in there written by Adam Lee of the Dungeons & Dragons team. A very wonderful writer. He used to write greeting cards. It was one of his previous jobs. So this kind of fits the bill. But Shifty Beasts. Many people think Displacer Beasts can be kept as pets. For those who try to tame these beasts, jaws are usually the last thing they see. That's true. Because these guys are not that, no bueno on those guys. Very interesting. I like this one about the owlbears. I mean, owlbears are just, cute and cuddly all the time. Anyway, so there is a pretty good depiction of what an owlbear might look like in your D&D world. And the text to the right says, "Don't stare at the owlbear. Owlbears are fuzzy. Owlbears are cute. They're as tall as 3 people in a fursuit. Owlbears are floofy, sweet as can be. No, wait! Is that owlbear gonna eat me?" See, I love Adam Lee. That rhymes. Maybe I'm learning a little bit from him. These are great. Get them for your kids. Hide your wife, hide your kids, but give it to them because they're gonna enjoy it. And my kids have loved it as well. So that's out in game stores now-ish. You know what else is also out in game stores? Timeless. This book right here by, it says on the top, R.A. Salvatore, but we like to refer to him as Bob. Bob Salvatore. Have you ever met Bob? Anybody out there? Been to any of his signings or seen him in person? He's a fantastic person. I really love Bob and everything that he does for both Dungeons & Dragons and just for life out there on the Twitters. But he's written this amazing book, and it is a perfect way to jump into the Legend of Drizzt storyline. You get to find out what happened after what felt like was the end of his story in Hero, the previous trilogy. And it goes back to some of the fun stuff that's happening in the start of the series. So where Drizzt came from, his father, his erstwhile rival Jarlaxle, and what he came from. And Jarlaxle, of course, is very important because he's that guy. I can't really point to it but my finger will get cut off. But that guy, Jarlaxle. The drow on that artwork there with the gold dragon coin, which looks conspicuously like this, being flipped in the air. See? I'm very Jarlaxle-y when I do this. All right. Damn, I knew I was going to drop it. I totally did. I meant to do that. That's the awesome thing. So, Vorpal Sword, this is, you're going to do this as the first... Oh, no, you've already done your book club. Have you done Timeless yet? You should. It will be amazing. I am jealous that you guys are able to do a book club. Me and Bart Carroll have been trying to get something like that similar off the ground here for the Dungeons & Dragons channel, but it might involve talking disparagingly about other properties of things, and that we didn't think that might work. Not necessarily disparagingly, but we didn't want to be hampered by not being able to criticize anything, even if it is constructive criticism. That said, in the future, there will be some content of me and Bart Carroll arguing about Star Wars at some point in the future. I don't know where it will be, but it will occur. Oh, okay, good. Well then, make it happen. Make it happen, Amy. As the new D&D book club that you are starting out. Make it a thing. It shall happen. All right, so it is out there. It's worthwhile. Do it. Greiswolf. Greiswolf? Is that how you pronounce your name? Greiswolf? Yeah, sure. Why not? Is that the... where should you start? That's a very good question. I would say, according to Bob, as we had him on the podcast, Dragon Talk, this is a good one to start with. It's got something for new fans. It's got something for old fans. It's got something for, medium fans. There is a lot there. So I would jump in with the latest book and then catch up and go back and look at other things. If you really are dead set on reading things from the past, I would say skip the Crystal Shard trilogy and jump right into, I believe it's Homeland? Sojourn and Exile were the ones that were my favorite. I think it's Homeland is the first one. Definitely interesting. But you guys, but if you want to jump into the Crystal Shard, you definitely very well can, as both Hafengrim and PC Comans said. Good all-around storyline there. So there are yet another book that is out in the world, or should I say, books. Here are two, because I only have two hands. I can only hold two of them at once. There you go. Endless Quest by Mr. Matt Forbeck. We spoke to him on the podcast yesterday as well. These are two, I would call them kind of pick your path books. You're able to choose where your story goes in this as you're reading it, and it is fantastic. It's for all ages. 8 and up is what we like to say, but it is a great way to get kids as well as adults into what's happening in the D&D storyline, as well as stuff that you would love. Because, like this one in particular, Into the Jungle, has to do with a dwarf cleric going into Chult and what's happening there in the Tomb of Annihilation storyline. There's also a subplot in here for Artis Cimber, a protagonist you may remember from earlier D&D novels. I believe one of them is called Chult or something about Chult there, but you can check that out. But yeah, tons of D&D. Yeah, these are Select Your Expedition. Yeah, there you go. Good job, Zenarch, for you out there. You can do that. This one, there's 4 editions of these out in stores right now, each about a different class. That one is the Cleric, as I said. This one is the Wizard, which is called Big Trouble in Little Waterdeep. Not really. This one is called To Catch a Thief. I'm going to try to get the shininess on there. So yeah, that's the shininess. Oh man, this is backwards. I'm looking at it backwardsly. So this is all about a rogue. I think it takes place in Waterdeep. These are the hardcover editions with a dust jacket. So these are like the more premier version. Again, they have the shininess on them. There are cheaper versions of these that are available in paperback, as well as hardcover without the dust jacket, according to Matt Forbeck. So that's the third one. The last one that I'm going to talk about right now is Escape the Underdark. With a fighter. You are a fighter. You are the fighter in this Pick Your Path adventure. Good stuff. Again, tons of D&D lore stretched throughout those books, and a great way to get people onboarded. Look for them in stores now, or if you're interested in picking up something around the time for what am I trying to say? The holidays. That's what I'm trying to say. You can pick that up for the holidays as well. All right, so on to Waterdeep Dragon Heist, because I just can't believe how awesome. Wait, no, that's not it. Oh, no, did I delete the one that I actually wanted on there? I did. All right, well, we'll talk about this in a second. But I want to give a shout out to Charlie Hall from Polygon. He wrote a fantastic review of Waterdeep Dragon Heist, and it is glowing. I can read a little bit of it here. He called it state-of-the-art tabletop design. which you can't come up with a better word than that. Waterdeep Dragon Heist might be the best introductory adventure they've ever printed. They, meaning us, Dungeons & Dragons. So it's one of the best introductions to D&D that I've come across, and a fantastic vehicle for familiarizing players with one of the biggest cities on the continent that the original role-playing game now calls home. So great stuff. Please read all of Charlie Hall's review if you're interested in learning about what the adventure is like. I would agree. This is a great introductory adventure. I started playing a couple of sessions ago, so I guess this was in August, with two gentlemen. One who had never played Dungeons & Dragons before and was very interested. One that hadn't played in 25 years, maybe even 30 years. And then we added a new player who hasn't played since the 3.5 era. And it is very easy to get them onboarded to what's happening in Waterdeep Dragon Heist. We started in the tavern, having it be in the Yawning Portal, a very evocative location as depicted in the Waterdeep Dragon Heist story. There's a great Jason Thompson cartoon that shows all of the figures and characters in the Yawning Portal who you may become in contact with. One of them is, of course, Matt Mercer, which I think is pretty cute. So yeah, tons of great stuff. I think you should, if you're interested in checking it out and maybe even running some new players through an adventure, that's the time to do it. So do it up. So listen up, because you can't say nothing. I'm going to try and do this because I really wanted to show, because I said the Yawning Portal, and I wanted to show this amazing build, and I didn't have it prepped ahead of time, so you have to bear with me here as I find this, but I don't want you to do too much. No, I don't want to shut down here. All right, fine. You're just going to have to see me work. Don't do that. All right. There's lots of cool stuff going on here, but this is amazing. Did you guys see this? I wish I could zoom in. I will try. Oh, there we go. Yeah. So look at this. This is a recreation of the Yawning Portal created by Shad Ross, Hyperion PDX, and this looks amazing. So cool. I love that this is to scale. This is the huge portal that's in the Yawning Portal. It leads down into the Undermountain adventure. All of these crazy characters are there. Here it is in full scale, which I appreciated even more than just a close-up of the Yawning Portal itself. Yeah, my mouth is drooling right now on how great this is. Check it out. I just love it. And I now want to make sure that I play with Shad on a daily basis, if not all the time. Good stuff. And this just gets my imagination pumping for how to introduce folks into the Waterdeep Dragon Heist story. So yeah, please, if you want to follow more of what Hyperion PDX Shad Ross does in his builds, they're outstanding. He did one for the Stream of Many Eyes. We didn't get to really show it on the stream, but I got to see it, and it had fog and dry ice used in it, so you felt like you were in this kind of mystical realm. Great stuff. Oh, and look, I don't know if you know this, but this is a water pipe, a pipe right here that might be pumping some fog in there at some point, because I don't think Shad, is really stingy with the smoke. He puts it wherever he can. All right, moving on up. You saw this a little bit, but I'm going to talk about it. We announced the Dungeon Mayhem game. Check that out. This artwork is fantastic. I love it. It is a game that will be available in game stores on November 16th. Dungeon Mayhem is the name of it. It is, how can I describe it? It's like basically like a cutthroat, quick version of Magic, if that makes any sense. But there's not a collectible card game aspect of it. You buy the box, you get 4 decks. Each of them correspond to a character class. So there's the Paladin, the Rogue, the Barbarian, and the Wizard. Or maybe the Sorcerer, but I think it's the Wizard. And you play against one another, trying to do 10 damage before you, in fact, get 10 damage against you to steal the loot. It's basically the kind of overarching story of it. But it's very easy to read and learn how to play. The instructions themselves are all on one page of text about this big. I taught it to a bunch of folks at PAX West, and they picked it up immediately. The iconography that's used in the cards is very simple and easy to pick up, and you immediately want to try playing it again. It's super fun. It's a great way for kids to jump in as well as adults. It gets them onboarded to what a character class is and what a barbarian means and what a magic missile might pertain to. So look for that on November 16th. It'll be in games, stores, as well as everywhere on that date. Dungeon Mayhem is the new game. Cool little thing too. It was designed in-house by two folks that don't work on any other games, I don't believe. They work in different departments. So it's this great thing that was pitched, and everybody just loved how it worked, and it went into production kind of immediately. So you learned about this potentially in the last hour with Jordan Komar, one of the designers, talking to Bart Carroll and Shelley Mazanoble. Good stuff. And you should check it out if you haven't already. And I loved Screen Rant's write up on this. Thank you to the author on this one, which I believe, let me find out who the author was just so I can give them a shout out as well. Oh, you have to do the shift, right? Is it control? That's it. That's how you open links, kids. Cody Gravel wrote this write up, which I thought was fantastic. So shout out to him for writing it up, or her, them, and yeah, we'll see more in Dungeon Mayhem World as we get closer to the release, which is again on November 16th. All right, Waterdeep Dragon House is going to be available everywhere on September 18th, so I hope you're prepping for that and all of your goings on. I would be remiss if I didn't mention the ABCs of D&D. That is coming out on October 23rd. There is the ABCs and the 1, 2, 3s of D&D. Those are two separate books written by Ivan Van Norman, who was the Dungeon Master for the Off the Table sessions at the Stream of Many Eyes. Very cool stuff. Very creative and prolific gamer, not just a tabletop role player, but also really interested in board games. He's kickstarted a few things in that realm, including this book. But we decided to bring it in-house and get it out there with all of the accoutrements of Dungeons and Dragons. Great onboarding for kids. What I like about this book is that it's rhyming couplets, so it'll be fun to read. I don't know how you are, parents out there, but it gets very exhausting reading books that are just not well written. They don't necessarily have to be not well written, but they can be just not fun to read. And ABCs and 1, 2, 3s of D&D is fun. It has a rhyming kind of meter to it. It's, as I said, it's in couplets. So that's going to be great, and it will get folks excited about what's happening in D&D and all that stuff. So look for these October 23rd, as I said. That's not too far away, folks. That's only like a month and a half, a month and 2 weeks, month and a week. But these should be on everyone's list for youngins as you shop for the holidays, in my mind, because I'm going to be getting them for my kids. In addition to that amazing potential gift is something I like to show off called the Players Handbook. Like you've never seen it before. So King Schnurr, who was on the cover of the Players Handbook. Ooh, that's not what I meant to do. I meant to do that and to do this and that. King Schnurr, who was the on the Players Handbook original set. This is an alternate cover you'll be able to pick up. It was designed by Hydro74, who did Xanathar's Guide to Everything, as well as Volo's Guide to Monsters. This core gift set includes the Player's Handbook, the Monster Manual, the Dungeon Master's Guide, a Dungeon Master's Screen, all in a cardboard slipcase. If you know how to speak, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, you can get these in game stores very soon. I'm gonna. Oh, I should just look at the thing. So they're releasing on October 30th, but I believe on October 19th, you'll be able to get these alternate cover sets in game stores only. But we are also re-releasing the original core books into a set that includes a Dungeon Master screen and a slipcover everywhere else. And those are just minor touch-ups to the graphical elements, but generally the same as when they were first released in 2014. Potter Boy, I'm sorry. I'm sorry about your poor wallet. It is one of those days. J. Paradex, it is the most recent printing of these core rulebooks, which I believe contain not necessarily the errata, but the because there wasn't really a lot of errata for these books, but there was a bit of clarifications and proofreading errors that have been corrected over the years. Gosh, 2014 this came out, so it's getting almost 4 years ago. Dang. 5th edition is in 4 years. That's crazy. It's been out 4 years. So those are they'll be the most recent printing that is the most up to date, but nothing such as errata or anything like that. D&D video. Oh yeah, ready for a video. Oh yeah, duh. Sorry, I saw what Elwaria said, but I didn't see what Pelham was saying in there. So yes, indeed, we are ready for a video. Let's go ahead and roll this because it was pretty exciting when it was announced at PAX West this year. Let's go check it out now.
Welcome, intern, to Acquisitions Incorporated. Please keep your hands, legs, tails, mandibles, and eye stalks in the ride at all times. Prepared to be immersed in Faerun's definitive adventuring brand. During this excursion, you will be exposed to the pillars of our organization: opportunity, adventure, and rewards.
Oh my gosh, did you guys see that when we played it before the during the Acquisitions Incorporated panel that our friends at Waterdeep did? Words together, talking, making sense. I can't do it. Can you? I enjoyed that. I love the tongue-in-cheek nature. I love seeing Jim Dark Magic in the style of the Waterdeep MMO. Waterdeep. I keep saying the Waterdeep MMO. It's called Neverwinter Kids. Play Neverwinter.com. Learn about it. It's available on PC as well as Xbox and PS4. This expansion, Heart of Fire, will be coming out in a few months. And it will be on PC first, but then it will come to there is no stuff about this, but it will be on the console soon after that. They have been doing great work over at Neverwinter. I loved everything they do, and I doubly appreciate how they bring in all of our storylines and our partners, such as the folks at Acquisitions Incorporated. So that's going to be super great. All of the voice actor work involved in it is stellar. It's going to be fantastic. So I'm looking forward to it. You guys should look into it. If you haven't already played Neverwinter, check it out. It's a great way to experience the Dungeons & Dragons story massively multiplayerly. There's so much lore there. There's so much that is in line with the storylines that we have done over the last few years, including Tyranny of Dragons was a big push in Neverwinter. Princes of the Apocalypse, Out of the Abyss, Storm King's Thunder. They went to the Frozen North to defeat the Frost Giants. In Chult, they also went to an entirely new jungle area for that. And now they're in Barovia. They kind of skipped that area, but now we're going back to it. And of course, for Heart of Fire, they will be back in Neverwinter, but there will be definitely some ties to what's going on in Waterdeep. So I look forward to you all checking that out when it comes out. Yeah, we're going to be spending a lot of time in Waterdeep because Dungeon of the Mad Mage is coming up as well. Who is excited about this? Did you like playing Waterdeep when you were a kid, or the kind of story of Waterdeep? Full disclosure, there was a series of novels written in the early 90s, I want to say. And I'm searching for it right now. Yeah, the Avatar series, written by Troy Denning. That this was after the Dragonlance novels. This was the first series that I really wrote, that I read around the Forgotten Realms, honestly. So the Avatar series is what means the Forgotten Realms to me, and Waterdeep was a big part of that in the location. So if you want to get even more delving into it, I mean, honestly, that other than it being taking place in Waterdeep, there's not much similar to what's going on in Waterdeep Dragon Heist as well as Waterdeep Dungeon the Mad Mage. But what I love about what the team did is that they took all of the stuff that had been written, and by the team I mean Chris Perkins as well as the freelancers James Hake and James Introcaso, not to mention the amazing story team including Adam Lee, Matt Cernett, and Mike Merles, Jeremy Crawford, all those folks. They took all of the wealth of knowledge that had been written about Waterdeep and they transferred it into what's happening in Dungeon of the Mad Mage as well as Dragon Heist. So you're not going to be lost. If you're a fan of that city, if you're a fan of what's been going on there, the same streets are depicted in those places. I saw someone pull out a kit that I didn't even know existed, but I think it was in the second edition of Dungeons & Dragons, a full-sized map that probably was about 4 feet by 8 feet, I'm estimating, that was the entire city of Waterdeep. And the street names, the alley names are all the same from what is now depicted in Waterdeep Dragon Heist, which I find super gratifying as well as immersive for us fans. So Dungeon of the Mad Mage is coming out November 2nd in game stores. It'll be everywhere November 13th. It details Undermountain, what is going on below the city of Waterdeep. So once your players kind of exhaust what's going on with the 4 major villains in Dragon Heist and what's happening with the Vault and all that, you'll be able to extend that or use some of the riches that they've gained to fund expeditions into Undermountain. And as Chris Perkins has said, this is the first time Undermountain has been fleshed out quite so completely. Each one of the levels has got a chapter, it's got a map, it's got denizens, it's got factions, it's got things that tie into what's happening in Waterdeep as well as in between each levels. I can't wait. This is going to be the perfect extension for campaigns that are loving being in Waterdeep and what's going to happen underneath it. So who's psyched about all this? Are you guys excited? I'm looking at chat now here. What's happening? Yes. Oh, there's also a lot about Skullport in Dungeon of the Mad Mage. That's kind of what's going on in PC Commons. That is where you'll find out everything, right? Yeah, Chaz Rambone, Jarlaxon is not a villain, he's a protagonist. That's true, but in the context of Waterdeep Dragon Heist, he could be portrayed as a villain. And if you're interested in finding out some of the ways that you can have amazing storytelling happening within Waterdeep Dragon Heist, you look no further than the podcast of Waterdeep that are going live right now. I believe we have the second episode up currently. That is with the Dragon Friends, and they had 2 special guests, one of which was Matt Young, who fans of Hello from the Magic Tavern podcast might recognize him as Usador the Blue, and he reprises that role within the Podcast of Waterdeep episode that's available right now on the Dungeon Delve RSS podcast feed. Also guesting in that episode is Mazmataz, who is the Dungeon Master for Hell's Bells, and I believe is in chat right now. So yeah, Maz was in that one too. Go check it out. It's super cool. I love how Victoria Rogers from the Broadswords and Josh Peralt from Taking Initiative wove together my crazy idea of having these episodes be a continuous story. So it started with episode 1 from yesterday that had the folks from North by Northwest as well as 2 guests, one of which was Satine Phoenix playing Vilania from Sirens of the Realms. The next episode that is currently available right now on the Dungeon Delve feed is, as I said, the one from Dragon Friends, Dave Harmon and the rest of that crew and 2 awesome guests. And then tomorrow we have, I believe, the Taking Initiative episode, which is episode 3. And again, all the stuff that happens in episode 1 and 2, you don't need to know to love episode 3, but if you have listened to those, they will feed in to what's happening. And eventually, this story will conclude after 10 episodes. There's a ton of great folks working on all of it. I suggest you go to dnd.wizards.com/podcast of Waterdeep, or POWD, and you will find out more about what's to come, as well as how to download the episodes. If you're just a podcast listener, go to Dungeon Delve, search for that in your podcatcher, whether it's on iTunes, on Google Play, or watching it on streaming through our website. You can do that as well. There's tons of ways to get all that content, so make it happen. And shout out again to Victoria Rogers from the Broadswords and Josh Peralt for outlining this whole story, getting all of the podcasts ready, and it's not an easy task. I'm not sure if you guys realize getting all of those creatives together, but it was fascinating to watch and see, and I think they've created something special with Podcasts of Waterdeep. Follows on our promotions we've done for the last couple of releases with Podcast of Foes to celebrate Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes. That was like 22 podcasts, doing one-shots about lore and monsters from the Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes book, and then Podcast of Annihilation to celebrate Tomb of Annihilation last year was also a big part of this trend, but we're pushing it forward, and I'm happy to say there will be one of these happening for the Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica release that is coming very soon. So what is that, you say? Well, I think that is a good transition into talking about Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica! Here it is. I have to resize this every time. I'm so sorry, but I got to do it. So yeah, that's it. Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica. What is it? It's a book. It's got lots of stuff in it. It's totally awesome. There is another game that's created by the fine folks here in the Wizards of the Coast offices. You may have heard of it. It's called Magic the Gathering. It is possibly the finest TCG out there. What does TCG stand for? It's Trading Card Game, or you might say CCG, Collectible Card Game. I remember playing it way back in the day. They're celebrating their 25th anniversary right now, and what a better way to do that than to combine the amazing tabletop role-playing mechanics of Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition with the lore that is surrounding the plane of Ravnica, or the world of Ravnica, within the Magic the Gathering storyline, and it's fantastic. This is one book you can pick up if you're a fan of Magic. If you have friends of yours that are a fan of Magic, you can totally get them on board with playing tabletop role-playing game using this book. It has everything you need to start playing, including ways for character creation. You can play as one of the guilds, one of the 10 guilds that kind of rule the bureaucracy of Ravnica, and have different personalities and things like that. So you can be one of these guild members going on adventures, perhaps giving you tasks by your various guild masters. You can do a group that's all from one guild. You can do a group that's made up of 2 guilds smashed together, or each member is a different guild. That all type of thing is all available for you to do with this book, and I suggest you check it out. It is coming out on November 9th in game stores and everywhere on November 20th, and I'm happy to say that the dames behind D20 Dames will be organizing a Podcasts of Ravnica event happening in November, so look for more information on that, but it will be a great way to onboard yourself for getting into that type of thing. There will also be, and I might be announcing this for the first time, an amazing group of role players playing through a streamed show, a storyline of Dungeons & Dragons called, I believe it's called The Broken Pact, and that is dungeon mastered by Ruben Bressler, a former Magic pro player. I mean, I guess he's still a Magic pro player, but I don't think he participates as much as he can, as well as some of the folks from the Saving Throw show down in Los Angeles. I don't think I let them know I was going to announce this, but I'm just going to do it now. We'll have a more formal announcement tomorrow or the next few days, but it's going to be pretty exciting, and I love it. So that will be, more information will be coming on that soon. Also, speaking of streaming shows, oh my god, I'm going to be playing in a show called Clerical Error, dungeon mastered by Lauren or Obo Crazy. it's going to be fun. We are all playing as members of the Dung Sweepers Guild within the city of Waterdeep, cleaning up that town. Sometimes the nicest people do the dirtiest jobs, and that is what our storyline is going to be all about. There will be adventures, of course, but mostly what we're going to be doing is planting trees and beautifying the city, because my character, which I will say, I'll let you know, is named Fabian. He was a cleric of Lathander, and he was forced to pray to the sun for a long amount of time due to a headmaster eking punishment upon him. So he prayed to the sun and is no longer able to see because of that. So he's having a crisis of faith, but he has taken up the mantle of a devotee of Myliki, the nature goddess of the elves, or one of the nature goddesses of the elves, that a half-elven friend of his introduced him to, and he has joined the Dung Sweepers Guild, unable to see, but still able to adventure and help out the city that he loves as best he can. So that's my character, Fabian. You'll learn more about the other characters tomorrow, 2 p.m. Pacific time on Wednesdays, here on the twitch.tv/DND channel. Clerical Air is a new show, and I hope you check it out. We'll be tweeting more about that going soon. But yes, Waterdeep Faulty Towers is not a bad name or a bad concept for. We definitely had a sitcom mind. Parks and Rec was bandied about a lot, as was The Office. We're not doing a mockumentary style, but other than all of those fun workplace comedies, that's pretty much what we're aiming for this. So check it out if you're interested. There's a lot that will be figured out in that first episode tomorrow at Wednesday at 2 p.m. So I hope you tune in. Right now, Half and Grim is not going to be up in audio format, but we may experiment with doing that for. Oh, Zenarch's group is feeling like Waterdeep 9-9. I love that comparison. That's super cool. But it will be an in-person game where Aquarius. We will be in the office. We're bringing in folks from the magic side of things, as well as Trick Jarrett, who has been in the magic community for a long time. He'll be joining the cast. Maris, who is in Mulali from D20 Games, is also working right now in the building on Magic. Michelle Sutterfield will be joining, as well as Demetrius Ferradinos, who you may recognize as Merrick. That was his name, right? Merrick from the Out of the Abyss Live that I performed as Dungeon Master here on this very channel 3 years ago in 2015. So that'll be exciting. I can't wait to play with all those fine folks. Other fun stuff. Extra Life 2018 is a thing. We are trying to raise as much money as we can for the Seattle Children's Hospital. We've raised money for this cause for the last 5 years, and it's always exciting to be able to give back to the community as well as to the kids. We are going to be streaming live on November 3rd. We have, I think, 3 games scheduled here from the office. We're encouraging all of our streaming groups to participate during that following week, and then we'll be following up with streaming live from Gamehole Con in Wisconsin, and it's going to be fantabulous. So we want everyone who can to get involved. If you like to play Dungeons & Dragons, you'd like to raise money for children, this is the perfect cause to do it. Join our team if you can. All the details on how to do that is in the chat right now, but it's at dnd.wizards.com/extralife, and join up. See if you can get something going on for that week, November 3rd through the November 10th. Even if you can't do something for that week, just participate. Make people donate to do stuff with your game. It's always fun. People can donate to create a character class or a character name, or pick and choose how things are going to go. I've had people come up with my name that was slightly ridiculous. I've had people come up with my character and class combo, or race class combo, to even to the effect of having, I think I played with a game with Demetrius in which he had to role play inside of one of those blow up dinosaur costumes as a dragonborn. So make us do ridiculous things by donating to this cause, and be a big part of it. I want you to. D&D and DCA podcast feed, you should check out. It is not on the Dungeon Delve. That's where we're having all of the podcasts of Waterdeep go up there. If you're interested or confused of where Dice Camera Action now lives in audio form, it is on its own podcast feed. Search for Dice Camera Action wherever you get podcasts. It's on Google Play as well as on iTunes. and coming to other places very soon. There's also a Dice Camera Action Wiki, which we want more people to reference and be involved in. It is at the address dicecameraction.gamepedia.com/dicecameraactionwiki. There's tons of great information there about how the history of the series. There's recaps of every single episode, as well as articles about important plot threads, details that you may have missed. Or if you're catching up, as you're watching, you can always look up things as happening there. So shout out to PowerScore RPG for putting together a lot of the data on that wiki, and we'd love for you to participate there as much as you can. We're also doing tons of fan art alongside Dice Camera Action, so please give to that as much as you can. We have a email address, I believe, set up for that. I'm not going to say it out loud because I'm totally going to get it wrong, but if Lauren has it, she can drop it in there. But we want to showcase more of the amazing fan art that people have been doing. Of course, we're looking at the hashtag Waffle Crew on Twitter, as well as the subreddit devoted to Dice Camera Action. Those are great repositories. But if you want to email us directly with your credits and how you would like to be mentioned online, that'd be great, because we'll be showing off more and more slideshows of the amazing Dice Camera Action fan art that's out there too. Speaking of Dice Camera Action, they will be at TwitchCon. I don't know if we've necessarily said that, but there will be a live show on the main stage at TwitchCon the Sunday, which I believe is October 28th, Wednesday, I'm sorry, not Wednesday, 2 p.m. Pacific time on that Sunday, October 28th. Mark your calendars. It'll be a great big live show with tons of bells and whistles. Live action means costumes, wigs, special guests. I'm not going to let you know what the special guests are just now, but they are amazing, and I can't wait to see them in costume. So that's going to be super fun. WizKids is doing some fun stuff. Gosh, I tried to do this for an hour, and here I am already running out of time. So I don't know if I'll have tons of it to be able to have happen. But WizKids has got amazing Icons of the Realms, Waterdeep Dragon Heist minis available right now in game stores. I'm going to pop this one open and just show you one of these. I won't show you all four that I get from this, but I like to just do some box opening from here. Ooh, I haven't seen this one yet. This is a Devourer. I believe this Devourer was actually shown in, I want to say this was in Storm King's Thunder, mostly because I remember the concept art that I think Sean Wood, one of our concept artists, did with a little person coming out of this ugly Devourer. So very cool. This is piece 41 out of 44 for those of you collecting at home. I love this. It's very fun. Yes, you need more things that I have trashed. I think I gave you one of those for sure. So we've got lots of fun streaming going on. I feel like I missed a whole bunch of stuff, but I think you guys should know about Beetle and Grimm, Waterdeep Dragon Heist Platinum Edition from Beetle and Grimm. This is their symbol. It is going to be coming out in a couple of months. It's fantastic. It has a box with everything that you need to play Waterdeep Dragon Heist to the nines. You'll have props. You'll have stuff like these coins. In fact, I think the actual dragon coin that I dropped is available in this thing. There will be badges of the watch, as well as blown up pieces of artwork. This Platinum Edition from Beetle and Grimm is going to be fantastic. It's definitely on the high end as far as cost goes, but you get everything in a box that you could possibly ever want, including some minis from WizKids. Specifically designed props and artwork that will elevate your game to the next level. So if you haven't, check out Beetle and Grimm's and see if you got interested in that. Our new partner Sirenscape has got Dragon Heist sound packs that I was playing around with. What are those, you might say? It's a soundboard for Dungeons & Dragons dungeon mastering, is what I can say. It works out really well. The interface is super intuitive. You can just press a button and listen to Chris Perkins really say the read aloud text from Volothamp Gadarn in the Yawning Portal, which is fantastic. You can also, as things progress within the storyline as written, you can clue in sound sets, and it worked out fantabulous for when I ran it in my session on Friday night. And that will be available when the Dragon Heist is available everywhere. So I believe that'll be September 18th is what they're aiming for now. Those sound packs will be an additional cost in addition to the Sirenscape player, but worth every minute of it if you like creating an oral landscape. And what a great and by aural I mean AURAL, landscape for your players. And I think that's a great 1-2 punch of using Sirenscape for sound effects and atmosphere, as well as the Waterdeep Dragon Heist Platinum Edition from Beadle and Grimm to create that kind of theatricality that I tried to talk about for the Stream of Many Eyes. I mean, that's what we were bringing forward with those off-the-table sessions with props and costumes and lights and live-action role-playing. I think it's really fantastic. It's not quite LARPing, but it's in that same vein, and I think more D&D games could benefit from some theatricality, for sure. All right, real quick, streaming schedule breakdown before we get to episode 109 of Dice Camera Action, which will be starting in just about 2 minutes. We've got on Wednesday at 1 p.m. Pacific Time, D&D Beyond. We'll be hosting them. Adam Bradford and Todd Kenrick will be there. Their special guest is Adam Lee. And then, of course, the premiere of Clerical Error at 2 p.m. Pacific Time on Wednesday. That's a new show with myself as a player, along with Dungeon Master Lauren Urban and some other great folks. We'll be hosting right up to then, 4 p.m. Pacific Time, the Acquisitions Incorporated, the C Team. They are amazing folks, and one of them I know, Amy Falcone, provides voice actor work for the expansion that's coming to Neverwinter. So good stuff there. And then on Thursday, 10 a.m. Pacific Time is Encounter Roleplay with Will Jones, and he's letting folks know how to play through Waterdeep Dragon Heist there. At 1 p.m. Pacific Time on Thursday, there is Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms. Host is Dylan Wilkes, who will have a great job. And then special guest Satine might be joining. Then we host Waffle Talk with Power Score RPG, a.k.a. Sean McGovern, talking through what happened in this week's episode of Dice Camera Action. So relevant to many of your interest. Also relevant to your interest is at 5 p.m. Pacific Time, Trapped in the Birdcage. Dungeon Master Holly Conrad, a.k.a. Strix, is returning with her amazing players, including Jimmy Wetzel, Anna Prosser Robinson, Hadil Al-Masari, and Chad Quant. Good stuff there, and more hosting Critical Role after that at 7 p.m. Pacific Time. Friday, there's the Beam Dog at 10 a.m. and Roll20 presents Waterdeep Dragon Heist at 1 p.m. Pacific Time on Friday. We don't have anything going on for Saturday and Sunday, I believe. I think Hell's Bells is off right now, but just in case they do, in fact, come on, they are usually at Sunday at 6 p.m. Pacific Time, but they will be back very soon, as is Rivals of Waterdeep coming back for a Season 2 on September 23rd. All right, that's everything from me. Thank you for bearing with me. I'm Greg Tito. Now on to Dice Camera Action, episode 109.